welcome to my channel, or welcome back. If you are new to my channel, I am a tattoo artist. It's my first type of video like this, a story time tattoo testimony. Also kind of a get to know me, or if there's other people out there who want to become artists, I definitely have to say off the bat, I don't believe the way I did things is the way that anybody else should do things. I started when I was 20 years old. I was very determined to become a tattoo artist. I just knew this is what I want to do. I was excited. I was really passionate about it. I was very impulsive, very impatient, and excited. So after going to a few different tattoo shops in Venice, California, I'm not going to say any names, I just feel like that's shady. I walked into a couple shops. My first impression of tattoo shops in that area were that you'd walk in and nobody would look up at you. I was like, wait, what if I was a customer and I'm walking in to get work done? So I was like very thrown off by that, and finally after getting a guy's attention, you know, he comes over to me. He's like, oh yeah, you want to get an apprenticeship? Well, we're not doing any. And I'm like, well, what do I have to do to get an apprenticeship somewhere? And he's like, oh, well, you know, I would just keep drawing and just look around. And after that, immediately I was thrown off. Immediately I was turned off. I just felt like I was never going to get an apprenticeship, which might have been dramatic at the time. I realized that was kind of like a huge deduction after only going to a couple of shops. But I just felt like, okay, this is not going to work for me. I need to do this now. So eventually I ended up hitting up my friend. I knew he had a machine, and I was telling him for years how much I wanted to tattoo. And of course, he didn't take me that seriously at first either, because, you know, people talk all the time about, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. So I understand. And that's the way I felt. A lot of people were kind of taking me. I didn't have any tattoos at all. I have just been an artist since I was the age of 4 years old. Before I could write, I had been drawing, painting, pastels. One day Craig calls me and he's like, okay, come pick up this machine. My heart dropped. My entire day was just so, I just remember feeling amazing. Like, this is finally going to happen. I'm finally gonna get to tattoo, and I didn't care about the risk. I got the machine, and it's really, really crazy, but my first tattoo I ever did was on my grandma. And my grandma is the most supportive, amazing person in the world. I did my cousin's tattoos, I did my friend's tattoos. This is where Instagram came into the mix. I've started posting free tattoos on Instagram. I got a lot of hit-ups. I got a lot of strangers. I told everybody, look, I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I was educating myself through YouTube and there, but I had only had my machine for about a month. And I already tattooed about, I want to say 10, 20 free tattoos on people. So shout out to all of the people who were willing to let me use their skin. I didn't lie to anybody. I didn't come off as some knowledgeable person. Everybody knew that I had just started. I ended up going one day to buy needles from a shop in Inglewood. So the owner of the shop asked me, hey, you're buying needles, do you tattoo? So I showed him my pictures, and he didn't like frown or like cringe or anything. So I was like, okay. My work was actually pretty good for being a self-taught artist, having no type of internship, apprenticeship, or anything. He was like, okay, pretty much, you want to work here? And I was like, oh my God! Because, you know, little old me, 20-year-old me, I'm like, this is my freaking dream to work in a shop. I don't care where the shop is or who the shop owner is. The fact that somebody is offering me a position in a shop is freaking amazing. Amazing. I was so happy. So he's like, all you have to do is bring somebody in, work on them, let me watch you, and we'll see from there. So I called my friend Cassandra. Thank you, Cassandra. You were so great in this process. And so I brought her in, and she let me tattoo her. I have some pictures that I'll post. The lines were okay, everything was good. And so the owner of the shop said, let's do it. When can you start? And I was like, I'll be here tomorrow. What do you mean? The shop ended up being a very toxic environment. At first, everything was wonderful. I mean, I was tattooing, I was getting paid, which is ridiculous because at that stage, I should have still been kind of doing a free apprenticeship type thing. I'm finally making money off of my art. How freaking amazing. My parents were skeptical, but I wasn't tripping because I was able to do my work. I was smoking a lot of weed. I was high, I want to say, like pretty much all the time. These are things I don't have to say, but I want to say them because I realize now how wrong it was. I'm not trying to down anybody else. I know tons of tattoo artists who are getting sober because it does affect your work. This is just my opinion. I genuinely don't see it being a good idea to get high or be intoxicated of any kind while you're working on tattoos. It just doesn't make sense. I was still so jacked up on that dream and that like idea of becoming this amazing tattoo artist, even though the people around me were not very good artists, and I know now that that was not the right place for me to be. There was a lot of sexual harassment going on that I kind of ignored because I'm trying to be here and do, you know, what I came here to do. I want to be a tattoo artist, so screw it. They're making jokes, they peek in on my clients. They would tell me things like, put soap in your ink caps, not witch hazel or, you know, another mixing solution that's proper for tattooing. It was a lot of malpractice going on, almost to sabotage me so that I wouldn't be able to succeed. Then it got to the point where they were stealing from me. I mean, I'd come to work and my kit would have things missing from it. One day, I just decided I'm not gonna quit. I'm just not gonna show back up. One of the girls who worked at the shop went off on me on Instagram, tagged me in a post, cussed me out, saying that I abandoned the shop, all types of mess. At the time, I was just so angry and so upset with the way that things had went down that I just said, fuck it. A few months later, I got a call from my friend Denzel. He tells me that some guy is opening a shop that was his artist. Denzel tells me to call him and that he just needs somebody to work with him. He just came from an old shop. He's opening a new shop. I went to talk to Baron, which is his name, and of course I had my doubts. I remember I was like, I'm gonna bring my work. He told me to bring my printouts of all the work I had done. I'm like, he's gonna look at this and be like, you're nothing. With Baron, it was the whole complete opposite, which was, I'm willing to teach you and it's up to you whether you want to work here or not. It was just really a cool feeling to be like, okay, let's try this again. And I want to say that was about 3 years ago. So pretty much at this point, I'm relearning everything. And Baron's telling me that my focus is not on making money, but on improving my talent. And he forces me, of course, to get my certificate, which was a huge turning point for me and for my parents. The way I was doing it was not okay to them. There are going to be people who don't see the vision the way you see it. And I realize now as a mature adult how important it is to have your certificate and to do things the right way. When you have a shop where you have your own space and your own setup and you're able to really draw things and invest time in people, do consultations, meet with the person, gather information about things they like, their skin type, their age, all of that factors into when you're doing their tattoo. And if you don't know these things, it will ruin people's lives. People cry to me about how it's affecting them. I mean, women and men who can't take their shirts off during the summer because they're so ashamed of work that they got from somebody who told them that they were an expert in the field and they're not. I definitely don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but at the same time, you have to understand that I didn't know what I was doing when I was doing it. I always was very clean. I never used the same needle twice. I never used the same cartridges twice or tubes. Everything I used was disposable. All my machines were sterilized. My cords had covers, clip cord covers, all, you name it. I was very, very, very sterile, but the conditions I had been working in sometimes were not. I would tattoo at people's homes, in their homes, in kitchens, in garages, outside, places that have animals laying around or you know, it's just not safe. It's not sanitary. And I'm very embarrassed and I'm very ashamed. There should be more education on tattoos, and you shouldn't be getting it done in your bedroom or in the kitchen or in piercing in someone's restroom. I mean, it's just not right. Had I got an apprenticeship, yeah, I might still not be tattooing, because a lot of apprenticeships take years until you actually start tattooing. And I'm really happy with where I'm at. I feel that I did end up in a good place. And when you're sheltered off and you're by yourself and you're thinking that you're doing things the right way, that's dangerous. It's like you're isolated and you're just doing this art on people and it's not in the right way. I don't know how more to explain that. It's so freaking wrong. It's just wrong. Bad. Don't do it. I wish I didn't, but at the same time, like I said, it brought me to where I needed to be. That's my journey. That's how it worked for me. But again, please do not start tattooing at home if you have no access to any tattoo shops in your area and you feel like you can't get an apprenticeship like I was starting to feel. Keep pushing, because if this is something that you want to make into a career, then you will put in the time and you'll put in the work and you'll grind until you can get to where you're gonna go. If you're just trying to knock around and tattoo yourself or tattoo your friends and you're at a party and there's a tattoo machine or something like that, I strongly suggest that you just don't do it. It can be really gross. Hep C is very easily transmitted when somebody's infected, and if you're tattooing them without gloves or if you're sharing needles with your friends, I mean, those things are not okay. So this is not to ward off people who want to tattoo. It's to bring people into the industry in a way that is correct. And people are going to respect you. And I know it's not about what people think, but it's just, there is an art form to it. There is a correct way to do tattooing. It's just how it is. The people who have been watching me grow since I started, you guys are really just so amazing. My Instagram family, I want to say, helped me so much throughout this journey. If you guys have more questions for me about tattooing or about art, I would love to do more videos on that, so definitely leave comments below. I will respond to everybody. If you like this video, you know I would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and a like. Please subscribe. I really want to be able to connect with more people